Hi, we're here with
Hello.
Willow. Hello, Willow, and great to be with you. I'm in Peru. Willow is in Hong Kong. We're having a Trans-Pacific case study here. And the reason I'm talking with Willow is she wrote an amazing job ad, and I want to do a breakdown of that with you and also talk about some energy work we can do on the ad to attract ideal candidates. So thanks so much for volunteering for this, Willow, at such short notice.
Yeah, oh, it's my pleasure. I always love talking to you, Michael. So thank you.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know Willow, she is an amazing business coach. She has been an entrepreneur for many years, co-founded multiple businesses, and helped other people create great projects. And she also even runs a conference called, now let's see if I can get this right, Yes by Yes by Yes. Right? Is that right? There's a lot of yeses in it.
Lots of yeses. It's yes and yes, yes.
Yes and yes, yes. So a wonderful event in America that happens every year. And I think this year is the last year. So if you want to go to it, you need to check it
Yes,
out.
at least for a while. So yeah, this is will be our fifth one, and we gather over 400 people, and it's in Palm Springs, California, every summer. So yeah, you can go to yesandyesYes.com if you're curious. We would love to have you, Michael. I would love to have you there. Please come, please come.
I will contemplate the travel agenda I have. Um,
Yeah.
so let's have a look at this ad, do a little bit of a breakdown on it. And here we are, very clear title you've put there, Seeking Online Business Manager. And I love the sense of humor have here, Willow, where um, you say fancy title, up to you, and you're clear about where people could be based. They have to be in a certain time zone in Southeast Asia or Australia. And also you open it up that maybe someone else is reading this. Maybe it's you or someone you know. So I thought those were all really great uh, things to do. And then I also see a bit of humor here. It says, read on and let's get this party started. So obviously the person writing this you has a sense of humor, which probably relates to what you're trying to attract.
Yes, thank you.
And then scrolling down a little bit in this ad, you start off with, well, what are the big rocks in the room here that really have to be dealt with? So um, you're saying this is a remote position. You're telling them what the budget is, and you're making sure they have the time available to do the work. So those are all, really important to get them out of the way, and so people don't have to read on if they're not a good fit.
Yeah.
Then I love this section. Who am I? Who are you? And who am I looking for? So I think that is a great thing. And I also like how you talk about you last. So you start off by talking about them. And I think that's great because what's the number one thing most people are interested in? Themselves. So there's no point
Well, and
telling
I want to
them.
make sure, doesn't matter who I am, they need to be the right person. Otherwise, yeah. And I will say too, I feel like I am a little wordy, but my vision or my intention is that someone's going to be like, oh my gosh, this opportunity looks awesome. And they're going to be so excited about it that they're going to be really happy that I went into so much detail because it'll give them more to like chew on and read through. And like, they'll be the kind of person that actually really enjoys that because they may be looking at my writing quite a bit. So that's kind
Well,
of my energetic intention, even in putting it out there.
yeah. Well, and if you're a wordy person, having the ad wordy will eliminate people who don't like that, which
Yeah,
is a good thing.
exactly. If it's too long, then they're like, maybe not my right person.
And I like this here. This is not a position for your average VA. So this is kicking out people who are not superstar VAs or managers already. So, and you kind of give a summary here of what they're going to do. They're going to manage your life projects, your clients, team, everything, and help you stay on top of everything. So I think that was really good too. And then just getting my mouse to come back here. You give some specifics about what skill sets they have. Um, and you add a little bit of humor in here as well. Um, not only are they good at writing, but they've got healthy boundaries, which is important. And I like this little bit of humor too here. Not just they have excellent grammar, but it's okay if they have strong feelings about commas and semicolons and other stuff.
Yeah.
And then here you've got some interesting things around what kind of personality they have. So it's not just skills, but it's also soft skills and attitudes. So, how good they are at communicating, that they can communicate both in writing and in phone and video. Because some people don't like, being on video. So good to get that out up front. I like this phrase here, no drama. I'm done with having drama in people I work with, so I can totally appreciate that. And then I noticed there's a phrase, heart-centered, and you've got heart and integrity. And heart-centered turns up quite a few times in this description, which is clearly very important to you. So important that they're detail orientated, so more skills. And then you kind of clarify that it's all going to be online. And then you list out a whole bunch of tools you'd like them to be able to use. So have experience with from Slack, Trello, Zoom, all kinds of other ones.
Yeah.
And then you list things you'd like, but you also say some bonus items. Like here you say it would be a bonus if they used a Mac and an iPhone, but it's not required. That's just like, that would be nice to have thing. And then you're using the S word down here, that you have all your business shit together, which kind of, to me, projects that you're kind of no nonsense, as do the items down here. Time tracking responsibly, you invoice on time, they're clear about who they are. And I'm guessing this not over-promising and under-delivering may have come from a previous bad experience with someone else. I know when I write job descriptions, I often think about all the things that went wrong in the past and make sure I don't have them this time.
Yeah, I think it's, very normal for someone to be so eager and say, yes, no problem. Yes, I can do that. Yes, and it's like, it's all comes from very good intentions. But for someone who's really, really familiar and maybe has already made those mistakes in their professional career and now is really good at knowing their limitations, knowing what they really can do, so that, we're both on the same page. And that takes knowing, it takes experience to really know that.
I think it does. And I really like this next point here, that not only can they manage expectations, but they're able to reset a commitment, which I think is a great phrase. So basically renegotiate a promise. They promised something new came up. Maybe the task was more complicated than they thought it was. Maybe some other external event has happened and they need to renegotiate it. And that's quite a complicated skill that only people who have a higher level of EQ, emotional intelligence, have. So I think that's wonderful. And then, here's something that sometimes you might not think is anything to do with a job, that they take care of themselves. And, I know, having worked with people who don't take care of themselves, that can impact their job and performance. So, because they want to do well and they work hard and then they get sick and the whole thing screws up. So that's both good from the business point of view. It's also good from, like, I'd much rather work with people who can take care of themselves, and it's better for them. So
yeah, indeed, better for everyone.
Yes. And then you've got a few more things, you spell out exactly the things you want them to do. Some of these things they're definitely going to be doing. Others, maybe they'll be doing, depends, how on the individual and how things move once you hire them. Again, you've got things you definitely want them to do, like here's one, creating landing pages, and you've got things that are bonus items that, maybe they can know how to do these already, maybe they don't, and they'll need to learn them. So that is good, because you can't ask someone to do 50 different things. No one's going to have every single skill set. You've got to prioritize. So it's great that you did that, Willow.
Thanks.
And then you highlight some other soft skills around trust, honesty, and connection, that they enjoy doing this. I think that's something that so many people forget, that it's more fun to work with people who enjoy the work they're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this is, thank you so much for, highlighting this, because this is really the intention, is that when it comes down to everything, that was kind of my, like, if I could succinct, yes, of course, some of the details are important, and I want someone who's experienced and, capable, but ultimately, if we do not have these things, nothing will work, and so, yeah. And especially that you like doing this work for me and I like working with you, is I actually had that recent thing with a copywriter of mine who I love working with. But I was kind of saying, gosh, do you even like this work? Are you into this? Because it's very, spiritual and very conscious work. And that's not how I really read her. She's very good at grammar, and she's not afraid to argue with me if things are not like readable. And I love that about her. But I'm like, are you even picking up what I'm putting down here? Do you like this? And funny enough, she was having the same thing of just making sure that I was really liking the work that she was doing. And so we both had to kind of have this like come together sweet little heart to heart of like, she's like, yes, I love doing this. I'm learning so much. And I was like, okay, because I love working with you. And so, yeah, putting that out there.
It's great. You put it out to the people reading this, but you're also putting it out to the universe that this is who you're trying to attract, and you are going to attract. And I like this part here. Shit happens. What's the fallback plan? How are they going to get things
And this is where, we were talking about the scars and kind of like what's happened in the past is,
so you mentioned that word scars. Can you explain that a little bit more to people who've never used that term with regards to hiring? What's a hiring scar?
Yeah, so I often will use this word with my clients, which is, just how that we have scars that kind of build up, just similar if you've gotten hurt, in any kind of relationship, that there's like a little scar, a little tender part on your heart. Actually, scar is such a great word because it's like thick tissue that's kind of this wall that not anything's getting through. So earlier you were using the word resistance, and I say scar because it's really something that we have to remember. We can still run and move forward with that. We can still actually put ointment on the scar and make it lighter and tenderize it and actually bring it back to being, live and working. So the scar there is, for sure. I've had, of course, contractors over all these years I've been in business go MIA, or that I finally onboard somebody really, really well. And then they're like, oh, I've changed my mind and I'm not able to do it or whatever. And so I'm just like, okay, what happens then? Or if they, God forbid something happens in their life, in their personal life, where they get sick or someone in their family gets sick, and they have to step away. What do I do? What do we do with that work that needs to get done? So I want us to talk about that sooner than later when it happens, and then everything's in an emergency chaos mode.
No more emergency chaoses. So will you be okay if we do some laser scar healing a little later in this case study?
Totally.
So let's just wrap up going through this wonderful example of a job ad. And I've got to believe you must have made a kind of a bullet point list of what your ideal candidate is. Because you've really thought about it.
Thanks. Yeah, my process was a bit twofold. So number one, I took a format of, I had actually had this a very similar page for when I was seeking my content marketing manager last year. And even actually before that, it's kind of been a page that I've reiterated over and over again. Like I was looking for a marketing intern years ago, and then that reiterated into the content marketing manager. And then I had to edit quite a bit because this is not a marketing focused assistant role. It's really more like admin, and then maybe we'll get into some of the marketing assistants. But so I had to edit it quite a bit. So that was like one part of it, was that I sort of had the template-ish. And then the other piece of it, and then I just needed to edit it and add it. And then the other piece is that, quite frankly, I've really needed to hire this position for like probably the last 2 months, pretty desperately, I suppose. And so I've just had so many things in my head, like, oh my gosh, they could be doing this. Oh my gosh, they could be doing this. And so I kind of, or it's almost like when you go to declutter your house, you're like, yep, that can go, that can go, that can go. This was another thing, like where I was like, they could be doing this, they could be doing this. So I had a lot that once I was ready to lay it down, I was like, oh, I know that I want them to do this, 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 this. So it kind of poured out naturally.
Fabulous. Well, I think that's a great way to go about things. And here, you've got an interesting paragraph here. If they're missing some of these skills, but they're super interested and that they have the things that are most important to you, that they're able to show up, do the work, learn fast, have a great personality fit, a great attitude, then let's talk. Which I think is interesting, because so many companies get hung up on, oh, you have to check off all the skill sets that we've listed, and you're more interested in what kind of person and energy they have and how they're going to be to work with.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And what I also know too, just to speak to that, is that you can have somebody that comes in and they are so confident because they've got all this experience and they're like, I've been doing this for years, but something has slipped in their attitude, or they think they're so great, but actually they're maybe not in practice. I have had the pleasure of working with some really great people who have no experience, but their energy that they come in and their excitement that they come in with is like, we can do anything. And I mean, I had this intern that I just adored, and she would come in and be like, so I've put together a list of 10 things that I can do today. And I was just like, oh my God, I love you. So that absolutely is like, I want this. If they have these things and there's like a general fit, but they need to be trained on Slack or Trello or a few things like that, then let's not make that a hurdle. Yeah.
Because it's always much easier to train a skill than it is to change an attitude.
Oh, sure.
In fact, for most people, it's really hard to impossible to change an attitude. I'm not saying it's impossible to change attitudes, because I've seen it done, but it's 100 times easier to add a skill.
Yeah.
So I think that's great that you're saying that. And I'll say another thing here. There are some people in this world who undervalue themselves, and yet make excellent people to work with. So this is an invite to those people.
Yeah, it's inclusive.
And that's often true for people in support or admin roles, that they undervalue themselves. So I think that's great that you put that in there to open that up to them. And then wrapping up the ad, you talk about who you are, what your company is. You have a great photo of yourself so they can connect emotionally with you. Some people I see even put videos in about themselves or the company to help connect emotionally. And you talk about, you create a vision here of what you're co-creating together. You talk about co-creating with these people. But here you're talking about respecting and honor, and also you're making it clear that this is an exciting role, that people are going to be helping create amazing stuff with you. And then here you're saying, I can see possibly another hiring scar here, that this isn't a temporary gig. They're not coming in for a few days and disappearing. This is a longer term thing for a year or longer. And then what you've done wrapping this up is something I think is really great. You've got a whole application form, which I'm guessing is a Gravity form or something similar,
Mm-hmm.
where they can fill out their information. And I'm guessing this all goes into a Google spreadsheet on the back end. And I love how you are asking them to give you their website, social profiles. I find energetically it's so much easier to pick up someone's energy by looking at their social profiles. If they're going to be an idiot, I can tell within 30 seconds of looking at their social profiles that they're an idiot. And then I like this question. I noticed you don't really have an Easter egg in this job application where you ask them a question, but actually this here is an Easter egg where people say, what excites you about this opportunity? And I've used that as a question. What I want to hear what their passion is, and I want to get that they have passion. So I think that's a great question.
And it's the first question I ask, because I do want, my intention is that they read that and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am perfect for this. That's my vision, and the intention that I'm pulling in here is that they are so excited to tell me what a perfect fit they are and what a great fit they are. Like, that's like the first thing I want them to be able to pour out. Then we can get to kind of the experience and the details.
And I've seen some job ads where they ask them to submit a 1-minute video that answers that question, because it's so much easier to pick up enthusiasm in video.
Yeah, that's true. I actually could invite them to do a video. I think because they're going to be so behind the scenes and not necessarily having to be somebody that can be that, I wanted to invite introverts who would never want to be on video. So I think that someone can be really great on email and the things that I'm wanting them to do, but not be so great on video. So I didn't want that to be a hurdle in this case.
Makes sense. So some other great questions they can fill out here: their qualifications, telling them about have they done a similar job before, that availability thing, which no good if they haven't got the hours to do it. And then you're upfront about saying, hey, how are you going to charge me for this? Do you have an hourly rate? Is there a minimum number of hours, packages, all those things?
And what that also helps me know is, I want to hear that somebody has been doing this. Like, I don't want to hire someone that this is their first rodeo as an online business manager or an assistant. So this tells me that they've actually already been doing this for a while. This is how they've worked previously. It gives them a space to actually communicate what they're, and like, hey, let's talk about the money right here. Let's talk about the budget right here. So yeah.
I think that's great. I mean, that effectively is what I would call a gate, because if they haven't done it before, you're going to see that and they just didn't get past that gate. And then you've got a nice open-ended thing here that lets them fit anything else in that didn't fit elsewhere. So I think this is wonderful. And having so many, I think there were like 8 different fields they could fill out, some of which are long form things. That's going to eliminate, tire kickers. Only people who are keen to have this job are going to fill this out. So that's another great facet there. So great job on putting the job post together, Willow.
Thank you.
So let's, I know we've got about 9 minutes left here. So let's do some energy work, and let's connect to the light. So go up, go down to the center of the earth, bring the light back up, and then you've got light coming from above and below and expand it out as big as the universe. So that's the quick way of connecting to the light. And let's send light from above and below into the job ad. So just visualize light coming from above and below into it, making it bright and shiny and attractive to your ideal candidates. And let's send light from above and below into all the ideal candidates who are going to apply to this. And let's connect them with a line of light from their heart to this job ad, to you and your company and your team. And let's visualize them as like stars in the sky, and let's see the ones who are ideal fits coming closer so they shine even brighter. And this job ad shines brighter to them because they're nearer to it. There we go. Okay, so that's one way to put intention and light into an ad, whether it's a job ad or a landing page or whatever the ad is. I don't know if you're running Facebook ads against this page, but
Oh gosh, no, I hadn't even thought of that. And my first step was really just to go out within my networks and see if I could find someone who is recommended or is, somewhere in the trusted networks. I hadn't even thought about Facebook ads. That's so interesting. But I think next I'll probably go through some actual job board where people may be looking or presenting their skills.
yeah, I mean, it depends on the role, but in some roles you can clearly identify people in a Facebook targeting. They've got a degree in some subject like marketing if it's relevant. They show interest in that, and then you can target countries. In your case, you want Southeast Asia and Australia, so you can only target those countries, and you don't pick up people from other time zones that you're not trying to attract. So that's an approach I've seen some people use. So let's imagine this ideal candidate, and let's do the 2 chairs method, which I think we've done together before. So you've got another copy of you sitting in a chair, and the chair is facing another chair, and you're in one chair, the ideal candidate's in the other chair. You don't know who they are yet, but just imagine them there. And then what do you notice about you, and what do you notice about them? Do you have feet? Do they have feet? What's their head look like? Where are they looking? Where are you looking? And just give the first answer that comes from your intuition.
Oh, the first thing that came to my intuition is that there's a lightness and a connection and kind of even a playfulness, that there's this like resonance that makes it so that we can kind of like laugh at things and play with stuff, and that it makes it so easy. Like she gets it, I get her, him or her, but that, it makes it really easy to be able to like communicate fast because there's this like awesome connection that's light and easy and fun and flowing.
Fabulous. So are they looking at you, or?
Yeah, we're kind of like almost like looking at each other like with like almost like that twinkle in your eye that's like, I get it, like we can almost like communicate without words, like kind of almost like giggling in that resonance.
Fabulous. Anything else you notice in their body? Is any body part missing, or large or small?
I noticed that they're giving and loving, and that they care a lot about this work. There's something about them that is, I want to say like kind of stable or secure, something, so that that their giving is coming from a place of kind of this beautiful, clear, they've already done, their own like self-love, and they know how to take care of themselves enough to where they're able to then spill over that excess of generosity and giving and energy, because they have taken care of themselves first, and then they're like, yep, we got this. And then they're able to really be present for me because they've already been present for themselves.
Fabulous. So now you've got a kind of clear, energetic picture. What will it take to connect in this reality on the phone or Skype or email this week, coming week, with this person?
What will it take? Well, I will receive a few applications, and that there will be a few that really...
How many is a few? Let's name a number.
Okay.
How many do you want?
I will receive I would say maybe 15 to 20.
I had the number 17 in my head. I don't know why.
And I'll receive about 15 to 20 applications, and that some of them will be just like so clear, like, nope, this isn't right. But be a few of them that really excite me and are feeling really promising, and those will be the ones that I get to set up the calls with. And then from there, it might even be that I find like so many great people that it really blows me away, and that there's maybe even an opportunity where there's some specific skills that, who knows, maybe I come out with 2 great people out of this whole thing. Could be, you never know. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see, who comes. And like I said, I feel this energy that, and even earlier when we were talking, that as we were drawing the lines to them, that they are, like I said, I just keep envisioning that they're going to see this and be like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And then, it's up to me to do my due diligence to make sure that their envisioning of what's perfect for them is going to also be right for me and both of us and the team. So, yeah.
So that's a great intention you have there, that they just see this ad and they're enraptured by it. And so what would it take that your ideal candidate sees the ad, they're enraptured by it, and they respond immediately in a way that you can tell who they are and gets you to the next step of interviewing them?
What would it take? What do you mean, what would it take? Like they drop everything and fill it out right away?
Yeah, well, not necessarily right away, but within a day,
Yeah.
What intention do you want? But you don't want them to ditz around for a month,
No, nope, I do not. Yeah, that's exactly what I see, is that I see they may even, so here's what I also know is at work, which is really exciting, is that somebody may have already seen it and then they messaged somebody about it, and then that person saw it and they're like, oh my gosh, cool. And they've needed to maybe rearrange a few things. I don't, most likely the person that I am going to find is not like sitting around twiddling their thumbs. I have a feeling that they're very, rocking and rolling in their life in some way. They may even have like one other client, or they're completing with some other client right now. So there's just that almost like, energetic shifting, excuse me, that has to come around to where then it opens up this space. So, somebody might have told somebody that told somebody else, and then they're looking at it, and then they've processed the questions, and they've even maybe talked about it with their partner or their friend, like, I'm so excited that this is happening. And now maybe this weekend they finally have the space to, really take some time with the questions and answer it to submit it.
Fabulous. So speaking of time, I know you have a 9:00 appointment. So should we wrap this up here and pick up another time, or do we want to clear one of those scars you have? I
Yes.
just want to honor where you were.
I do need to complete this call.
So let's wrap this up now, and we can come back another time and do some zapping on your scars.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, I just need to take this other call and then we'll hop back on.